Hey, good morning. Welcome back to our Retire Early lifestyle during this crazy 2020 post period. I got some whoppers for you. Stick around. Little for everyone. And even though I have lately and will even today reference some things about where we are, which is Mexico or even Puerto Vallarta or wherever we are. We lived for 8 years in Ecuador. Went to Central America, Europe, all over the place for 12 years. We've been so mobile, you know, and that's part of that flexibility thing. I don't know who it was that said, if there's one thing that is certain, and that is change. And things do change. Recently I received a video because we've been here for months in the off season, and you see me making videos, and it looks great. But when you look at videos of this place, and as I said earlier, when I talk about this place, I'm actually referencing all places. Things are way different than they were when we first went abroad. Well, when we first got to Ecuador, this is what it was like. All you saw was locals. Once in a great while, you saw 1 or 2 expats, and I mean it was rare. That's how.
Year, we hardly
the whole first year, we didn't see hardly any expats at all. That is what we went abroad for. Okay. Now, 12 years later, I want to show you what it's like now. Let me show you a clip. Stick with it. It's only a few seconds or several seconds long, but I want you to know that the whole video is the same. This is what you're going to see.
Hello. No fine.
Ah, ya lo arreglaron.
Definitely have a good time. You could probably be drunk all the time. That's okay.
Yeah, I hear them, but not much. It's like a filter.
Okay, so you can see the difference in this clip. Yeah, you don't see any locals. It's the complete opposite. You see nothing but gringos and foreigners, and then maybe you see a local, you know, behind the counter of a, you know, of a tienda or something. But they're all foreigners, and so that's what we're looking at. And remember that today, what I'm filming is not the high season here. Now, it's very seasonal here. A lot of places are not as seasonal. They're more year-round. So like a lot of people from the north like to do the seasonal. It's unbearably hot for some people in the summer in tropical places like this, but in places like Ecuador, like what you have more of a retirement community, and so it's a year-round thing. So what we just showed you is more of a year-round thing in a lot of these places. And I mean, the internet has exploded. This requires us to do some out-of-the-box planning and thinking. However, though, I see some challenges because the entire MO of the quote-unquote North American expat is to rely on gringo enclaves. I don't blame them. I'm not condemning them. I'm just saying that's the way they do it because they're usually first-time travelers. They don't know the language, and it's a sort of support group. But if people were leaving before, they're going to leave even faster now because things are just exponentially growing to such an extent that it becomes literally, you know, undoable. And I can't tell you, I won't waste your time by telling you how many people I met when we were in Cuenca, Ecuador, that said, well, I went to Cuenca and I couldn't afford it because nobody told her.
Yeah, after all the expats came.
Yeah, and so it's just a totally different environment than it ever was before. Which brings me into my next thought, and that is that you're seeing that you're not, I just showed you a clip so you can see it with your own eyes, but here's another thing. No gracias. Here's another thing that's happening. We said that we started talking about the gentrification right away, but now it's blowing up all over the globe. You're starting to see, in other words, there's protests now. You know, you see some really popular bloggers and popular retirement destinations that have now gone home. Oh, hey, we sold our home. You know, I mean, for 2 years they made all these videos about how they bought the home, and now we sold our home. We went back to USA. You know, and so that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to discourage people. I'm just saying the landscape is different. It has changed, and I wouldn't expect it to go back to what it was before in any of these places if there's people making videos about it. Matter of fact, you're now seeing that that's actually an intentional strategy of cities and tourist boards is to have bloggers. They're jumping on the bandwagon where the RAMM, Retire Abroad Media Magazines, were the only ones. Now cities and tourist boards are
Well, they hire the bloggers.
They hire them to, you know, like an influencer in order to blow up that city.
Absolutely.
Look, on the surface, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not condemning or judging anybody. You know, everybody's got to do what they got to do to get business, right? But I'm just telling you, the consumer, is that your experience isn't going to be, you know, the authentic experience that a lot of people think they're getting. So I'm just saying that times have changed, and that I'm saying it to encourage you in this way. And this is the way, and I've been saying this for 12 years. I've been consistent. I've been saying the same thing, and that is that we need to do things independently, with independent thinking. And this comes as a challenge to your average expat. So that's the conundrum. What do you think the solution is? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about that conversation? All right, so thanks for coming to my videos. Let me know your thoughts and have a wonderful day. That's my first whopper is that some of you say, well, I'm here for the duration. You know, I'm here, and I've got a question for you, a serious question. You know, I talk and I reference the times we're in because we have to. How can you ignore, you know, the calm before the storm? You gonna ignore that? You can't, you know. I talk a lot about being prepared, and being abroad in that preparation for a lot of you watching my videos. You know, and we're out here too, so we have a good perspective. And you know, if there's any questions that you have about your plan, what have you, I have a membership area. You get access to me in that membership area, and you also get like a 5-hour digital consultation with me, pre-recorded, which covers all the questions you possibly might have, and then some. But just in case you have more, it's okay, you still get access to me. But moving on from that, how many of you have considered the full plan of these crazy people? And I've said before, that all one has to do is watch the part of the world where their plan did go further than it did maybe in some of the other areas. So consider that. Take a look at the details. That's what I'm asking you to do. Take a look at the details carefully and then transpose those details to your location. Now, what would that look like there in the spot you want to be in or are in? You know, so like I'm not sitting here saying, a lot of people, they tend to frame their reference based on all the other information they're watching online. That is to say that because I'm in Mexico, why Frank must be saying we should be in Mexico instead of Ecuador or something like that. Not at all. I'm not saying that. That's just something we're doing, and everyone's circumstances are going to be different. So, you know, your situation may be different, and your goals and such, and your calling in life may be different. So, you know, I don't make videos like that, you know, what place is better for you, because that's not possible to say that for other people. Rather, what we should be doing is giving you as much information as we can, which is what we do for free, and then if you need a deeper conversation, we're available. And so, continuing with what I started, my first Whopper, how would things, let's transpose what you saw, so transpose it every single little detail, all the way to the end. If you're not sure what that is, I was hoping not to spell it out for you. But when I was younger, I was intrigued by the music of some of the artists in it that spoke about rights. Stand up for your rights. I was intrigued by that because, of course, at that age, what was it, 20 years old or something, I didn't know anything. It's amazing how much you think you know after you've moved out from your parents and got your own house and wife. You think you know so much, and then you find out, oh no, I didn't know anything. Oh my God.
Yeah. You learn as you go.
And so I say it's a blessing for young people that have good parents. I've talked about the infiltration of communism. Part of it is the destruction of family. Unfortunately, the American culture and some of these places are not there yet, but they're trying. Believe me, I've made videos trying to show people that the things that are in the works, you know, in the background, even here in Mexico. And I used to talk about Ecuador, two Ecuadors, just Ecuador, you know, I refer to Ecuador as China. So there's no perfect place yet, and if anybody tries to tell you, oh yes, this is the perfect place over here, be careful, because I'm not trying to sound like a know-it-all, but I have very specific experiences and insight, and it doesn't come just from reading newsletters and magazines in different languages. That's right, I read magazines in different languages, newsletters from north to south all over the globe. In addition to all that, I have a very unique experience, which I'm not going to go into. It's just who I am. Let's finish that first thought and say, you saw in New Zealand how they were putting everybody in the, well, of course they call it part of communism is double speak, which is just gobbledygook. words. And so everything is twisted and upside down. And so they call it lockdown and then quarantine, but really you're being imprisoned. You're basically in a New World Order concentration camp. That's what happened in New Zealand. I don't know if you saw all that, but you know, that's what I'm talking about. Transpose that into the locale that you're at and ask yourself, if I'm imprisoned in this locale, is that what I really want? Where do you ultimately want to be imprisoned? Because that's that 10% unknown I was talking about in my other video about flexibility. That's that 10% unknown. What if? And it's not a pie in the sky what if. It's, well, look, it's this SWIFT thing is global, and look, this is how they did it over there. So at some point, I'm not saying that it's imminent in the place you're in or even here, but at some point, you know, the bad guys are looking for a way to get it to that level. It's like a game of chess. You're looking at your starting point and you're saying, all right, how am I going to get to the finish point where I checkmate my opponent? You see what I'm saying? Because I've done the study of communist systems and history. I have a very deep knowledge, and that's usually what I talk about. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts about that? Probably something a lot of people aren't really thinking about.